Do you have big dreams, but never feel like you can make them happen? You want to write, but instead of sitting down and actually busting out something on a keyboard, pause. You just say you'll do it tomorrow. Be honest, how many times have you done this? I know you want to write amazing things. I know that you've got a creative drive that's burning within you, but you have no idea how to start. And the truth is, I completely get it. It took me years to start writing online. Fucking years. Years of excuses. Years of telling myself I couldn't do it. For context, I remember wanting to be a YouTuber when I was like 12 years old. Now look at me. It only took me 14 years and 6 different attempts and we finally made it work. We've arrived. The point is, I know how it feels to procrastinate and just wait around for ages without doing anything. I've done it. It sucks. It's terrible. I hate it. So ask yourself this. Why is it that instead of creating, you spend your entire life consuming? Whether it be watching TV or just scrolling mindlessly on social media, distractions are everywhere. Are you just too lazy to do anything? Well, the good news is you're not. Okay, so you can let out a sigh of relief. You are not too lazy to do anything. Okay. And it's also not because the thing you want to do is impossible. I mean, think about it. How hard is writing, really? It's not that hard, right? I mean, you do have to use your brain a little bit, but it's not the hardest thing in the world. It's not like climbing Mount Everest naked. That would be way harder. The problem is, you're overestimating how difficult writing online is. And because you think it's extremely difficult, your brain just doesn't want to do it. And it would rather do something else, something stupid, like looking at girls on TikTok. Luckily for you, this is 100% fixable. You see, you're not lazy because no one is lazy. Lazy is not a character trait. It's a habit. You may have developed the habit of being lazy, but that doesn't mean you can't also develop a productive habit like writing. Obviously, if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to write. You may think it's hard to do, but the truth is, the only reason you think it's difficult is because it's unfamiliar to you. There's a critical difference between the two. The activity of writing itself is not inherently difficult. All you have to do to get over this is to start banging out written content. How do you do this? By outsmarting your brain. Here are 3 steps on how to do it. Step 1. Step by step. You see, the reason you're unable to write is because you've got these elaborate fantasies in your head. You want to be a best-selling author. You want to have millions in the bank. You want to have 1 million followers on social media. The problem is, you can't get all these things overnight. They take time. And because your brain knows this, it makes the simple habit of writing feel impossible. Instead of fantasizing about these lofty goals, just relax your face, okay? Take a chill pill and calm the fuck down. Because you're not going to become the best writer in the world without practicing a little bit. That's like trying to be better than Michael Jordan the first time you ever touch a basketball. It's just not realistic. Instead, just start really small. Write a word. The next day, write a sentence. The day after that, write a paragraph. Do this for long enough and you will be busting out massive blog posts in minutes. This is exactly what I did to write over 650 Medium articles in just over 700 days. When I first started writing, I wasn't writing these really long and elaborate pieces. My first ones were barely a few hundred words. They were really short. However, after starting small, writing every day, I quickly began writing longer, much more interesting posts. If I didn't start small, I wouldn't have 27,000 Medium followers right now. And I wouldn't have made any money online. It all started with just a very small writing habit that I developed over time. So treat writing online like the gym and you'll be absolutely fine. Start small, incrementally increase the weight, and keep showing up for the rest of your life. Step 2. Make it easy. Let's face it, you don't like doing hard things, and neither do I. That's why when it comes to writing, I never rely on willpower. Never. I instead rely on making it super easy as possible. Let me explain. You see, I know absolutely nothing about rocket science. If someone gave me money and told me I had to write an article about Elon Musk and how he's going to get a rocket on Mars, I wouldn't be able to write anything good. I might be able to try and blag it, but it's not going to be a good piece of content. However, If someone told me to write about how cute dogs are, I'd probably be able to write a thesaurus, like a book this thick. Why? Because one of them I'm familiar with and the other one I don't know anything about. Another way of putting this is just write what you're interested in. If you can't shut up about a certain subject, you'll have no problem writing about it. On the other hand, if you're trying to write something that you don't give a shit about, but you think it'll make you a lot of money and go viral, you're gonna suffer, mate. You're not gonna have an easy time. So make writing super easy by just writing about stuff you're interested in. This is how writing stops feeling like a chore and becomes really fun. Another way you can make writing easy is by turning it into a routine. You see, it's a lot easier to do something consistently if you have a routine for it. For example, whenever I go to a coffee shop, I'm always able to write. Why? Because I always run through the exact same routines. I go to the coffee shop, I get a latte, I sit down, I open my laptop, I write. Going into the coffee shop and buying the latte acts as my cue to start writing. And as soon as those cues hit my brain, I know what time it is. It's writing time. Another way you can do this is just by writing at the same time every day. Either way, whatever you choose to do, just make sure you make the process of writing as easy as physically possible. That way you'll be able to keep doing it forever. Step 3, turn off your mind. Now let me be clear, I'm not telling you to do anything stupid. Instead, I'm just telling you to do the obvious. The reason you're not writing is simple. Your mind is telling you not to do it. Therefore, if you turn your mind off and stop listening to the excuses it comes up with, you'll have no problem writing. So what if your mind doesn't feel like it? So what if it's tired? So what if it wants to scroll on TikTok? So what if it's scared of the mean comments people are going to leave on your posts? This is all ridiculous stuff. This is nonsense. You can't allow your mind to sabotage your success. You are ambitious, aren't you? I mean, that is the title of this video. If you clicked on this, it's because you're ambitious. You're an ambitious but lazy writer who wants to stop procrastinating and start actually busting out some content. If that is in fact what you want, you need to learn how to switch off your mind whenever it starts to make excuses. Once it shuts up, then you can start writing. No problem. To appease it, just dedicate to doing a little bit. Just like in step 1. Maybe only intend to just write a few sentences or for a few minutes. The funny thing is, if you do this, you'll end up writing more anyway because you end up getting into a flow state. Why? Because your mind isn't actually lazy. It's a force of curiosity that needs to be harnessed towards the correct things. If you get it addicted to cheap things like TikTok or Instagram, it's going to be very hard for you to create meaningful work. But once you're actually engaged in creating meaningful work, it becomes a piece of cake. Another thing you can do to make this even easier is by promising yourself a reward for writing. For example, The Fellowship of the Ring just came out in the cinemas where I live. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. I really want to see this film because I've never seen The Lord of the Rings in the cinema. As a reward, I can go see the film, but only if I write and record this video and put it on YouTube. Because the video is up and it's on YouTube, you're watching it right now, I can go watch The Lord of the Rings as soon as I'm done. This is how rewarding yourself works. You can even do this on a micro level. Once you complete a small task like reading a book for 2 minutes, you can listen to your favorite Beatles song or something. Gradually, you can increase the amount of time you spend working and give yourself better rewards. Look man, here's the truth. Every writer you know and love started in the exact same position you're in right now. They all started small. Dan Coe, there was a time when he had 0 followers and $0 in his bank account. Stephen King, there was a time when he was an English teacher and hadn't written anything. Just because you can see the end product does not mean you can see the full picture. You can't see where these people came from, you're just seeing them where they are now, and that can really fuck with your perception. They all struggled, just like you. They were all in exactly the same boat as you. They weren't in Ferraris when they started, they were in Honda Civics or Toyota Corollas or something. The only difference between you and them is experience and practice. That's it. They started and they kept going. All you have to focus on is getting started. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on getting going. From there, I promise, everything else will fall into place. Think of your desire to write like a fire. It may be a little flame right now, it might just be simmering, but the more you write, the bigger that flame will become. With each piece of content you create, it's like you're adding gasoline to that fire until it eventually becomes like a Daenerys Targaryen dragon fire. Well, I don't know what that fire is called. You get what I mean. It becomes a raging inferno. But the only way you can reach that point is by starting. So, what are you going to do today to light that fire? Click the link in the description and get my free magnetic writing guide. Also, watch this video if you want to learn how Quentin Tarantino is able to make old ideas feel new. I'll see you there.